begins and the loading screen is up. We have We the Best, the Zerg player who has won the last 3 games, going up against Dano, the final player that Time of Rising will send out. Will he win 2 games in a row and bring it back for his team? Or will We the Best finish the series right here? So bring up the score. There we go. Spawning at the 6 o'clock position is the Yellow Terran from Time of Rising. We do have Dano, and also introducing spawning at 12 o'clock. The top position is the Blue Zerg from Team Mastermind, winning the last 3 games. He is We the Best. So it'll be interesting to see. We've seen 2 ZVTs from We the Best. We've seen him take out Zoom with by holding in 2 racks nicely, and we've seen him play a very nice mutiling style against Spook, which was good to see, and he actually took out that game as well. So will we see him go for Mutalisks again, which have won in the last 2 games, or will we see something a little different? But definitely a very strong player, winning those last 3 games and stopping, most importantly, Zoom, who was on a roll, as he had taken out 3 players in a row: Sunder, Wilson, and Evan. But enough of the recap of the clan war thus far. We have spawned cross positions. I believe that's forced cross positions as well, and I assume we're going to see a hatch first from We the Best. It'll be interesting to see what will be interesting to wait and see what Dano chooses to go for. Looks like he's going to go for a command center first as well, which is pretty safe. It's a long ground distance, and he's assuming that his opponent's going to do the same. Does leave himself open to a bit of early pressure, but there it is. 14 command center for Dano. Are you there?
I am back,
There you go.
guys. Yes, I just got back.
That's good.
Oh yeah, is this the GSL Metropolis?
Yep, it is.
Or is it? Yeah, it is GSL. So we will have the. Now I don't believe GSL Metropolis does it force cross spawns. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not sure. It is in this game though, and yeah, I'm not sure if you saw it, but Dano went for the command center first, now throwing out that barracks to follow with, and our Zerg player did the equivalent by going the hatchery at 15.
Yeah. So we're going to see very similar opening again to 2 games ago. It is is there lag in the game? Nothing on Sparta.
Isn't that why they took this out of the map pool?
Yeah, this map is, depending on the graphic settings, we don't know. We won't be able to know who it is without the counter coming into it.
I can I'll just drop mine just in case.
Yeah. Well, it could be the players. It could be, I don't know, because if there it is, it's you.
Yeah, well, after I changed my settings.
Yeah. If not, we're just going to have to play on a different variation of the map, which is the ladder one. The ladder one, I think they've fixed it, not the GSL one, though. Anyway, so Dano is going to be going for his expansion up. He will be able to throw down a factory after this if he so wishes. I don't want to see him do that. I actually want to see him stick to buy, just be very defensive. He doesn't have to play very aggressive in this map, but it's a very good map for both Terran and Zerg, so both players can expand counterclockwise, sorry, it would be clockwise in this case, to that third. I mean, you can knock down the rocks. It's very easy to defend both bases there for Zerg and for Terran, and it's good for drops as well, so he will be able to do a whole lot of harassment.
Yeah, but as I was saying, we've seen Mutalisks be a good friend of We the Best in the last 2 games. Put him in a position to win the game both times against both Spook and Pox. So it will be interesting to see if he goes for that option again, and I guess the best indicator for that will be for gas.
Yeah. Honestly, because he can get that third base, it's a lot easier to defend on this map. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go that third, get infestors as well, and Dano is being bit sneaky, looking for that third base. Not going to see it, but if you get that earlier third base, I mean, instead of going from Mutalisks, you can go infestors and just go defensive. Yep. And if they try to drop you, I mean, fungal growth's just amazing against drops. So either way, I mean, We the Best is going to be in a good position either way he goes. So Dano, it's gonna be up to, does We the Best go for a third, or does he just stay on 2 base?
Yeah, Well, next minute or so we'll um, display the options taken by both, but we will see the factory with a reactor, and we will see a couple of Hellions. Dano realizing that there's not a third, so he's going to attempt to scout the natural and the main. The Queen doing a lot of damage. It might actually, yeah, he denied scouting,
It
so
will
nicely
start
done.
that SCV quite easily. Lair is on the way, so we will see Mutalisk coming up straight away. This is very standard timing again for Mutalisk, and it's going to be very, very fast. Now, Dano will, if he's really not sure, he will sacrifice his Hellions just to get in that base.
Yep,
But you mean that you don't really want to do that, but in the end, I mean,
better
if you
safe than
don't know what
sorry.
your opponent's doing, and you're like, well, shit. I mean, they could be doing anything, but at the same time, he's going to be able. He's seen at least one of those guys as in the natural. If he sees the other one, he's going to be able to say, well, hang on, I've seen this build before. It's Mutalisk, and
Yeah,
be quite defensive. And that's the advantage of
gonna get
playing
a
up with
scout here.
someone else.
Gonna get a scout here. The Spinecrawler does actually go down. The Queen not doing anything to react initially, and didn't cancel that. Oh, it actually finished, and then it died, and the Queen's actually gonna take out one of those Hellions. So it doesn't look like he's gonna get in and see the 4 gas. But I assume he's somewhat suspicious of Mutalisks at this stage. But he's throwing down a third command center, Dano. So
Yeah,
that
he's,
is,
he's not going to be in a terrible position from this point. I mean, look, he can build up his marine count as long as he plays defensively, and he's actually going to go straight into mech play. This is very ballsy. Um, it's good if he can defend the initial period, then he's going to be in a fantastic position. He's going to have Thors out. He's going to have a couple of Thors out by the time the Spire's done.
yep,
But he has to defend the initial wave of Mutalisk. So if he can, then oh my god, Dano will be in an amazing position. But I don't know how it's going to go for him.
yep. So Ling's now chasing the Hellions a bit, chasing him away. I think it's safe to say Dano knows it's coming because he's getting the option for Thors and he's getting engineering bay as well, so he can get a couple of turrets. And really, it's pretty much the exact counter for Mutalisk, as the Spire is almost finished for We the Best, the Zerg player.
If anything, this is actually one of the standard timings to get that engineering bay. Just 4 turrets. I mean, Mutalisk can come at 8 minutes, but if they do come like that early, you are sacrificing a whole lot of stuff just to do that, and it's really dangerous too. So the safest bet is about this time. Look, the thoughts are coming out. We have 3 turrets on the way. We the Best is going to go in, try to do some damage, and Dano's just going to be able to defend it.
Yep. And that's going to put him overall in a stronger position because he's going to have the third base, and now the third base being thrown down for We the Best, but it's going to be a bit delayed. If we look at the Harvesters, Dan only leading by 1, so not too much to comment on, but Baneling that's going down as well, and it's not going to do too
Actually,
much.
if they're so I haven't actually checked the harvesters count just a tiny bit, but if they're even on harvesters, then Dano is actually going to be ahead at this point in
Due to
time.
mules.
Purely because of mules, but at the same time, I mean, look, he's got the equal harvesters. His third base is coming out fast. He's going to have a higher mining efficiency, and he can defend all this aggression, which We the Best is putting all his money into.
Yeah, and these
And
doors,
right now, this
he
mule
needs to
is.
be really careful. Yeah.
And I mean, look, We the Best has put a whole lot of money into all this Mutalisk, and Dano's putting all his into tech right now. So he's going to have pretty much the best tech possible against We the Best, and We the Best is always going to have to show for it is lair a few Mutalisk, and now he's going Roaches, so he knows that the mech's coming, but again, he only has a window to do this. Once Dano maxes out on mech, then Roaches are going to be not a bad option, but it's going to be a lot harder to fight against it.
That's so many Hellions.
That's a nice amount of Hellions, and he's repairing them all.
15
That's awesome.
Hellions. And, oh, he could actually get a free Thor kill. He flew right over. And he's actually going to do it.
No, he's going to get repairs. So all the rest of their SCB train, everything's coming for the Thor.
And
The
you have to be
Mutalisk
careful. He's
can't
throwing
get
away
down.
some Mutalisk due to that second Mutalisk. I don't know if he's actually noticed that that second Mutalisk was just picking off those... Sorry, that second Thor was picking off those Mutalisks. But Burrow on the way for We the Best. He's got his 4th base. He's got a macro hat. We're going to see landmines all over the place. Because he's got the Baneling Nest and he's now getting Burrow. But he's getting... Where is it? Yeah, he's getting Tunneling Claws from his Roach Warren as well. So, it'll be interesting to see him tunnel in and rip up some mineral lines. Nice creep spread so far. Almost halfway across the map now. And Dano with a significant supply lead though.
Yeah, and that's actually the advantage of mech. I mean, it's those units are just worth so much. So I mean, he does have the supply lead, but in the end, I mean, look, they're going to be on a equivalent amount of units. And the best thing is, as long as you can keep those mutalisks spread, these Thors aren't actually that good against them. And he has to have a decent amount, and he has to have them spread, but he's going to be going Roachling. Uh, so as long as the siege tank count keeps low, the leader string will be all right. So Roach is in first. Once most of those Hellions are gone, Lings can come in. But at the same time, We the Best has to pick the perfect time to attack into that. And once he maxes out, which will be soon, mind you, because he's actually producing a whole lot of roaches, so it will be
Yep.
soon. He'll be really good to go.
Yeah, and he's getting an infestation pick. Will we see him grab a hive and then grab something like a greater spire? Or will he just get
Yeah.
some infestors?
We'll see. Actually, we should see a tech straight to Greater Spire. Infestors aren't really. I mean, they're not bad against mech, but actually, we're going to see an engagement here just quickly. And look, ToRDano is going to be able to pretty much deny this army. If this army comes up against these Blue Flame Hellions, they will do a lot of damage, even to the Roaches.
Yeah, but Ling's getting a little surround, but Blue Flame Hellions, when there's that many, it's really not a good idea. A lot of roaches though, and they aren't affected by the Blue Flame upgrade. And now look at this. The
Oh yes,
the burrowed roaches looking to
this
tunnel in. They'll
it's not going
actually...
to be able to do
No,
too
there's
much
missile
though.
turrets everywhere.
Up those bases as
Yeah.
well, so he will be able to get in nice and close, but he's going to get seen pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
And now he's revealed that he's got burrow
Little
and
counter
tunneling
attack
claw.
happening though with these Hellions, and there's so many roaches. Like some of them are tunneled and some of them aren't. Just heading across the map. He needs to take out these Hellions, or they're going to put a big threat on his... He's ripping up the creep spread nicely, the purple carpet. Dano with nice scans, but the roach is doing a lot of damage, just picking off, sorry, a lot of these Hellions. But Thors, that is a lot of Thors. How many Thors does he have? He has 6 Thors, 5 tanks, and 17 Hellions, and he is getting infestors. So not getting,
So he is adding infestors.
he is getting a hive as well, and that's just
He's
being...
getting pathogen clients, but he's not going to be adding them on just yet. Pretty much at the moment, he needs to start worrying about getting pretty much getting broodlords into it, because there's only those Thors at the moment for anti-air, and there's only 4 minded, which isn't really good against broodlords. They will have the equal range, but We the Best will be able to tank a lot of that damage with the broodlings on the ground, and the roaches can come in as well.
Yeah. So both players now maxed out, and Dano looking to use it. We've got a greater spire on the way. It's 100 seconds away, making corruptors as well, but doesn't really have the supply for broodlord. So we see him free up supply, but there is an engagement happening. Roach is getting ripped to shred by siege tanks, and 10 more roaches in production. A couple of corruptors. I think broodlords are going to do a lot of damage against this mech army.
Yeah, right now, We the Best has to free up. Actually, he's not going to free up supply. He's just building roaches upon roaches upon roaches. And right now, Dano's stuck where he is. As soon as those tanks unsiege, these roaches are going to come straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to scan it though, and those roaches are going to be forced to pull back, trying to do something a bit sneaky there. And Dano's going to be transitioning into Sky Terran 3 Starports on the way.
Wow.
And that's going to be amazing against what's going to be happening here.
And Roach is actually getting a really nice surround, and the siege tank's doing a bit of friendly fire on some of these doors, but 15 roaches in production and a lot of supply down the drain for We the Best, and he's showing no signs of actually getting any broodlords. He's got 1 corruptor, but with all the supplies freed up, you'd think he'd create a few more. There we go, 3 more corruptors on the way, as well as the 1 broodlord that he's making from that original corruptor. But he needs something to support these broodlords. I mean, we saw second game. Sunday had a lot of broodlords against Zoom, but he didn't have any tank, anything to support them. They just died from Vikings and anything really. So he needs to keep the roach number at a good ratio so that he can support the broodlords. And yeah, that'll put him in a really nice position.
Yeah, and remember that all these Hellions are gone right now, so Lings are in production, and they're going to be so good against this mech composition. There's only 5 Hellions on the way down, and once those Hellions are gone again, he would better run straight into those tanks, get us around, and that's pretty much going to be it for the
Needs to be
tank.
careful. He's throwing away mutas there. Ooh. Could have been worse.
but he does have a scout on that army, so that's going to allow him to get into position, and We the Best getting his next base again. So fourth again, expanding up there. Dano does have his fourth as well. That had already finished up. We have mass amounts of Vikings on the way too.
Yeah. 6 Vikings on the way, and as well as Thor production continuing, 3 vehicle upgrades happening for both weapons and armor. But Broodlord's actually doing a lot of damage on the Thors.
Doing fantastically here. He needs to focus down the Thors.
Moves up with his roaches and
push Dano back.
A forward missile turret actually helped him out a little bit, but very nicely played by We the Best. He's actually picked off a lot of this force, and now he's going to be able to overrun him on the way back here. He catches a tank, he's catching a Thor, he's going to get that weak Thor. There it is, the weak Thor goes down, the Lynx is around the dummy, and the mech force being ripped to shreds. And now all of a sudden We the Best has a 20 supply lead, and those Vikings, there's 4 Thors in production, wow. But it's going to be a while before they come out.
Vikings are going to help immensely against these Broodlords. There are only a few corruptors on the field, so there's not much anti-air on the field for We the Best. Dano is doing really well here, getting those Vikings, getting those Thors out, so that's going to be really good against what We the Best throws at him, but We the Best does have the advantage of just being able to remax so much faster.
Yeah.
So he will be, actually he's going to be adding 9 more corruptors onto this composition. 6 have already popped, 3 more are coming out.
1 air attacks as well, just to make sure that those corruptors do a good job against the Vikings. But Vikings now taking out a lot of these Broodlords. Corruptors doing a fair amount of damage as well as the engage occurs. Broodlord's doing a lot, and the Roach is doing a lot as well. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Actually, We the Best will be able to take out most of this composition. It will leave them both square, but what's going to be important here, what's going to be important is how We the Best reinforces this. So right now, We the Best doesn't really have enough to continually engage.
He's got 8 roaches, 6 lings, and a couple of corruptors on the way, but if he can take out a base or 2, that would be really good. I think he lost the last Broodlord. Yeah, it did go down. Corruptors now need to get out of there before they are ripped to shred by these Thors.
Yeah, 4 Thors are going to be on the field in just a moment, and We the Best doesn't really have the income anymore to continually reinforce. He's actually just going to have to build up his army again before he can attack.
He's got 90 harvesters.
Dano's army is going to be so strong.
He's got 90 harvesters though, We the Best, and if he trades armies, it's not that bad a thing. Although these Hellions are going to get to do a fair amount of drone damage. I'm not sure why those roaches are back. But yeah, it's okay for We the Best if they just trade armies, because he'll be able to remax in seconds. Not at the moment, his income isn't booming, and he transfer some of the drones from the richer from the richer bases. But yeah, he's got 90 harvesters. Some would say that's over optimal, and it's going to be interesting to see how quickly he can use the economy. But look, the map's basically been split in half. You can see just the colours on the mini-map. We've got Dano taking 4 bases himself. We the Best with 5 at the moment. But Infestors, Corruptors, Broodlords, it's a pretty sinister batch for the Zerg player. But bear in mind, Dano does have the Thors and a lot of those mech units.
Now, Dano, with this mech composition, it's deceiving, I suppose you could say. It's going to be really hard to break through it. Now, We the Best did a fantastic job. The only problem with what he did before is that, yeah, he did a fantastic job. He destroyed the entire army, but he had nothing left in the bank to remax after it, to do, say, a Ling run by into third, into the natural, and do the extra damage, which is normally what you do as a Zerg. Now, right now, he's going to be able to do that soon, but if he can wait just a tiny bit longer, he does have all these gas geysers, which he's not mining from. If he mines from these, so he has one of his 5th that he can mine from. He's mining actually out of his 6th, which is actually really good, so he will have the gas income to do it. But if he can get that gas income up, there we go. So if he gets it right up, he can just remax on Broodlords, or he can do the which is tech switch into Ultralisk. Now, right now, Dano is getting a whole lot of Vikings, and he has too many Vikings.
Yep.
So against Broodlords, fantastic. But if We the Best transitions into Ultralisk, which unfortunately it doesn't look like he's going to do, but if he does, then oh my god, all these Vikings are pretty much rendered useless, and everything's just going to get devastated. So Dano's actually just going to keep moving up. He's maxed out. He's ready to get aggressive.
Yeah, and he's got a fair amount of money in the bank as well. He's quite similar to the Zerg player, which is not so good for We the Best heading into this engagement. He loses a lot of lings early. Nice fungal growth though, catching all of those Vikings and weakening a lot of them. He hits the second one, and that should kill those Vikings, and dropping a bunch of infested Terrans, but it's looking pretty close at this stage. Nice use of the Broodlords, but there's nothing to support them now, and those Broodlords are eventually all going to die.
Yeah. And at this point, Dano is going to be able to rematch again with Vikings and Thors. And both units are going to be very, very good against what We the Best can throw at him. Right now, he needs to use mobility. Use his mobility that he does have. He has a whole lot of Zerglings on the way. 88 Zerglings are about to pop. And there are no Hellions. If he can get all these Zerglings to attack at once and get those fungal growths going, oh my god, this composition is just going to die. And we're going to see a reset of the map yet again.
Yeah, this is the same map. For those who watch GSL, this is the same map where there was that epic 45-minute long game between Squirtle and MVP. But I guess this map is just an epic map in general, but nicely using the lings to pick off different mineral lines. He killed a few workers here at the third, but meanwhile Dano's taken the whole base out for We the Best. But We the Best, he's grabbing his middle bases nicely, the ones that are kind of in
We the Best is going mass banelings.
44 in production. Wow.
This is sexy.
He doesn't have speed on those yet though. It's still 45 seconds away. And he's now transferring these...
Which is enough time to morph even more banelings apparently. So he's going to be going a whole lot of banelings here. And oh my god, he's actually going to be able to evaporate a couple of bases. And more lings attacking up the top base now.
Yep.
But unfortunately not getting those lings, burrowed lings in the best position. They were burrowed in the line of fire, so they ended up dying anyway.
Well, he's actually still nibbling away at the line center. Mauling's running into every base, which is really good to see because he's taking Dano's mind off his whole main army, and he's kind of getting him to reposition. Look at this. I mean, so many Thors reacting to like 6 lings, and that's really good. It's getting inside his head mentally and getting inside his base. And he's actually, look, he's actually got this orbital command on fire now, just by nibbling away at it with 1 ling for a long time. There are 2 Hellions here. They're not dealing with it. So I think Dano may be starting to slip. There are more broodlings in production.
They will lift it, yeah.
Is he going to be able to repair it,
actually, yeah, he can land it and then just land a couple mules. So I mean, look, he's going to be fine there, unless he actually forgets about it yet again.
Yeah.
But Dano, at this point in time, he's going to be marching across the map. But We the Best has managed
so
to...
many banelings, and he scans the banelings. He sees... He knows he needs to siege up. He doesn't even have any tanks. Oh, no.
It's devastating.
The banelings are just ripping it to shreds. There was no siege tanks really. Siege tanks would have destroyed that, but now We the Best doesn't actually have... He's got a lot of infestors. The Broodlords will die. And he's definitely... Yeah, he forgot about that orbital, by the way. It died down there. But things looking quite close still. So many Vikings, and as he said, Ultralisk would have really done a lot. But what's he got in production now? He's got more lings and more banelings compared to the 4 Thors of...
Actually, hang on. This is actually going to go really well. There are no Hellions on the field. Massive
so many infested Terrans. Destroying the Vikings in ground mode, and he needs to drop a fungal growth here. Those Thors are very strong, and they've actually held that off.
Yeah, that 3-3-3 upgrade for Dano just doing so much for him. So 3-3 for the mech. We the Best hasn't kept
the
up.
Lings are only 2-1, yeah. He does have the double evolution gems, but yeah, he did lose that base. Dano forgot about it, and his income's he's mining off 21 harvesters compared to 75. So the longer this game goes, I definitely think the better position We the Best is in, and Dano knows that, so he's choosing to move now. A lot of infested Terrans, and the banelings are going to run in, and yeah, they do some damage, but 3-3 compared to 2-1, it's just really not that effective.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Dano, what the best option for Dano right now is really just to lift off these islands and just defend them for a bit.
Yeah.
Because right now, those things are just going to be so good at attacking pretty much anywhere on the map. They're going to be so mobile, and that will force We the Best to get Mutalisk. And, well, Mutalisk aren't very good against Thor, so all the he can really do with those Mutalisk is just attack those islands.
Yeah, and these Thors are actually a long way out of position, really. He could lose a lot of his supply right here. Ling's going in now and spraying them. He drops a lot of infested Terrans as well. A couple of banelings run in. but he's actually not doing that well. And we the best,
Yeah,
GG.
these Thors, when they're when you're 3-3, and how much armor does 3 give? So they have 4 armor. Lings are doing 6 damage per attack. I'm just gonna check on that. Where's a Ling? Hello, Ling. Where are? There's gotta be a Ling on the field somewhere. There is one Ling on the field. Now I'm gonna attempt to find him. Where are you, Sir Lingy? While you load up the next game, here he is. So